Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode this week on Soccer Talk. Got a lot to cover for you tonight with the Premier Sports Cup group stages. We're now 3 weeks in to the Premier Sports Cup. So we've got lots to get through, lots of great games, a lot of big results have happened as well. And also the Scottish teams are in Europe this season as well. Hearts won the Champions League last night against Graz, and Hibs and Motherwell play tomorrow night. So yes, we've got lots to get through. Joining me tonight we have Jordan. Welcome, Jordan. Thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been in the works for like a few weeks.
It has obviously with life and everything going on. It has been a busy time, to be fair. Summer's been busy. But yeah, no, we're finally here now. So I can't wait to get going. Jordan does a podcast called the Tartan Stand,
Yeah,
which is about all the Premiership teams. Yeah.
it's just solely focused on the Scottish Premiership. Aye,
He also has a page on TikTok, Jordan on SPFL. So if you want to hear about all the leagues, Jordan has an account on TikTok. It's really good. I do always,
thank you.
I do always see the videos. So yeah, no, Jordan is quite active on his socials. So hit him up if you want to find any of your football facts. But yeah, no, we'll go straight into it. We'll kick off with the Premier Sports Cup. We'll start off with also my team Ayr. We couldn't have asked for a better cup campaign so far, a better start to life under Gary Naismith. 3 out of 3, 9 points so far. We've won the group due to results elsewhere. Also, Falkirk losing in penalties away at Alloa last night. Ayr still to play Alloa on Saturday, so hopefully we can get 12 points and steamroll a group, which I think we can. We look really good this season. All the new signings have been terrific. 3 great performances, 3 fantastic results. Um, so yeah, I'm feeling very confident going into this season. Uh, I'm buzzing with winning our cup group because sometimes we seem to fall short in these cup group stages. But yeah, what a start to the season we've had. I'm really liking the football under Gary Naismith. We've got a proper manager in the door. Jordan, what are your thoughts so far on everything going on at Somerset?
Uh, a bit of a surprise. Like, don't get me wrong. Guy Naismith is a terrific manager. We've seen what he done with Stenhousemuir. The
Mm,
signings they brought in, I did like Shanks from Peterhead. I think he's been terrific. Reece Lyons, he is a decent signing. And you're thinking, okay, they're bringing in a lot of good players from League One, but can they do that step up? And then obviously into the Premier Sports Cup, the bet Stranraer by 3 goals to 2 away from home, which is a hard place to go to. I know a lot of people might say it's a League Two team, but trust me, like League Two teams can easily compete in League One, in my honest
mm.
opinion. And then obviously that impressive victory away to Falkirk, which is, been a tough place to go to for Premiership teams. So Ayr United's been incredible this far, and obviously going into their first game in the Championship against Arbroath, obviously the first fixture for last season. I think it's if they win 4-4, I think they've actually got good morale and momentum, which is very hard to stop for Ayr. So I think they can look optimistic so far at the time of recording.
Yeah, no, definitely, exactly that. You hit the nail on the head there, Jordan. I think it is always important you've a good cup run before the league starts, because again, it does really help with momentum. It really does. Also, we got through last season as best runners up, but we missed out in the last game against Midland, which was always going to be a tough game. They won it last season, but yeah, exactly what you said. It will definitely help with momentum. It really will. Um, like I mentioned there, I think the new signings have hit the ground running already. I think the recruitment this summer so far has been really impressive. Um, I think Reece Lyon has been solid. He's been terrific for us this season. I think Luke Macbeth has been an absolute steal. I'm shocked we got him from Partick. I really like the look of Ross Taylor. Owen Sturtman, one from Dundee United, scored at the weekend. See, we've got the makings of a very good team this season, Jordan. We've got makings of a great team. And yeah, it's big for us. It's massive for them momentum getting into the first game of the season. Um, we're seeded in the draw as well, which I think will help. I think we've a bit of a chance in the cup. We'll avoid all the big boys. So yeah, let's just hope we can do the business with another result against Alloa and finish off in style. Alloa will be a difficult game, by the way. I think Alloa have played well throughout this cup campaign. Again, I know Falkirk have been inconsistent, but I thought they done brilliant to get a draw last night.
Aye, definitely. I was talking to a Falkirk lad and actually said to me that Alloa was putting Falkirk in the back foot, so that's going to be a difficult game. I'm pretty sure they beat Airdrie in the playoff
Yeah,
semi-final, so
uh,
they are capable of beating a championship team. So again, Alloa, they will be our team. Alloa feels like they're good against the teams that are more quote unquote difficult, but when it came to like the lower teams in League One, they would usually drop points. So it's definitely going to be a difficult game. But if you want to have a good season, it's a team you should be beating nonetheless.
no, no, 100%, 100%. This is the thing. They are quite typical for losing to teams that we should be beating in the cup. We've been here before with cup embarrassments. I mean, the biggest example is losing to Talbot a few seasons ago at East Kilbride. So we can't become too complacent and we can't get too ahead of ourselves. It is important. It would be perfect if we did go and get a result against Star. Um, but no, I'm absolutely buzzing about that. We've won the group, we're through, and that's all that matters. Got nothing to worry about as well going into the last day like we usually do in these cups. But yeah, things are looking in the up. They really are. Uh, I don't know if you heard, Jordan, a bit of breaking news. The game is now, that Saturday's result is now being changed to 3-0 win as Edinburgh City fielding an ineligible player.
And
If you
that's
don't
just
know if you heard
Edinburgh City
about
for you.
that. I
That's just
know,
Edinburgh City.
yeah, they've been fined £1,250 and they stayed up in the last day of the season. Uh, Edinburgh side, they're a club that's, I don't know what's going on down there. Don't get me wrong, I thought Edinburgh City were good on Saturday. I thought first half they frustrated us, they sat in, defended really well. But we did manage to find two late goals. It wasn't the best of games on Saturday, but look, we got the 3 points and we're into the last 16 draw on Sunday. So yeah, things are very positive as an Air fan at the minute. I both 2 weeks on Saturday. Oh, this coming Saturday. Yeah, exciting times. Yeah, so as we mentioned, obviously, Al joined with Falkirk. Al also won in penalties last week against Stranraer, drawn 2 each. Uh, God, they must be practicing penalties or something now, or their penalty shootout record's been terrific this cup competition.
Kilmarnock should take notes. To be fair, they did actually beat Rafe, but I think
Rafe,
that was their first one in about 6 or 7 attempts.
yeah. I mean, Partick are the same. I think Partick won the penalties last week as well against Livy. And they're
Did
notorious
did
for losing.
I think they actually lost in the weekend with last night. Sorry, Stenhousemuir on penalties, didn't they? Aye.
I was going to quickly touch on that as well. They did, yeah, drew 2 each with Steny last night. Wasn't in penalties, so typical for them. Um, Elsewhere in the cups, yes, Group B. For me, the surprise package has been Group B, Jordan. Montrose, I want to touch on them. I mean, what a tournament they're having. Also, they won away at Fierce Trials or both last night at Gayfield, 2-0. Give me your thoughts.
Montrose has recruited brilliantly this season. I don't know if it's Stuart Petrie said to the board, listen, give me the players that I'm walking. Don't get me wrong, he has been a long-serving manager there, but it's a season where I think if they don't finish in the top two in League One, I think it'll be a disappointing season. Now, don't get me wrong, second and fourth, you're going to be finishing the playoff no matter what. But the players have brought in has been absolutely incredible. I talked to a lot of Morton fans, and they're actually giving out contracts to 2 3 year contracts from Montrose. You don't usually see that from clubs in League One or below.
Mm.
So they're feeling very confident in this season with financial side of things as well. So they've backed their manager, got an impressive victory against Dundee United as well. So like things are very looking up a lot, and it's going to be good to watch. I'm actually going to tip them for the League One title. I think they've just got everything going for them.
I was going to say that. I think the recruitment's been excellent. I thought the signing of Sean Byrne was big for them as well. From Wraith, obviously been playing the Premiership with Dundee. Even guys like Sean McGinty, who obviously a Championship player, Championship experience. I thought he was another crucial signing. Even players like Cammy Williamson, etc. Manchester, like they've got a really good team. I was quite shocked by their recruitment. I think League One's going to be tight. There's going to be a few teams going for the title, I think, in that league.
To be fair, I think League One is the championship. It's going to be
Mm.
very competitive. You've got like say East Kilbride, Montrose that we spoke about, Ross Keltney, Airdrie, Accies because they've been signing everyone since their transfer embargo got uplifted. Potentially Queen of the South if they get their signings right, albeit I think that's going to be a wee bit hard for Nicky Clark, who's first season in charge. So it's like six teams that can go for that title. So it's going to be a season that goes right to the wire, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. League One looks to be exciting this season. It really does. I mean, a few of these League One teams have been flying and beating Premiership sides as well. Um, See, all Montrose need is either a win or a draw against Spartans because Dundee United have played all four games. Beat Spartans and they win the group. They'll be the seeded team. I think that's pretty frustrating for Dundee United. I think bit of an embarrassment, maybe.
I would, if they go through, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but it is definitely poor.
Mm.
Especially the players have brought in like Dylan Tate, Jack Walton's came back, they brought a goalkeeper back that can save. But Dundee United has so much potential, but I just don't think Jim Goodwin is the man to take Dundee United where the Dundee United fans want them to be.
Yeah. Uh-huh. See, Dundee United's a funny one because when Jim Goodwin came in, the club was a mess. They got relegated that season. He brought them straight back up, got them top four into Europe with a brand new team, fully turned the squad over. I'm not sure, can he get Dundee United competing for Europe again or top six? Has he maybe took them as far as he could? It's a funny job, Dundee United one. It really is.
I guess if you look at the financial side of things, I think the board is trying to get their money back. I got told to put like 10 million in and I actually haven't got anywhere near it back. So I guess, the transfer kit is a wee bit poor, but he can at least try and change things. I think his top results actually came against the top three, Celtic, Hearts and Rangers. But against those teams like an Aberdeen, don't get me wrong, it's like the Newfoundland Derby, but he never he stuck to his style, and I think that's what frustrated a lot of Dundee United fans. And if you're a team that wants to go somewhere, albeit it could be very optimistic and very hard to do so, you need changes when it isn't working. And I just don't think he's that type of manager to do that. I think he's a manager that sticks with his style, his philosophy, which don't get me wrong, you can say 9 out of 10 managers do that these days, but I feel like that third place where every Premiership team usually goes for or usually looks at, albeit Hearts to get scudded last night. I think that distance is getting a wee bit more further, and if you can't even play for a European spot anymore, then that's when you need to worry if you're a team like a Dundee United, Aberdeen, Hibs, etc. In my opinion.
Yeah. Mm. Uh, uh, yeah. So that's all for Group B. Um, we'll move on to another very exciting group at the minute. We've touched on a couple of minutes ago. I mean, East Kilbride, man. East Kilbride look like a really good footballing team. They really do. Also, won League Two last season by a canter. They've been cooking so far. Some of the football they've been playing is incredible. Took St Mirren right to the sword last night. Uh, Although 4-3 defeat away at St Mirren, but they were 3-0 up with, I think, half an hour to go. St Mirren also come back and won. But I genuinely mean this. I think East Kilbride will be one of the favourites for League One. I think Mick Kennedy and Cy Ferry have done a terrific job down there.
Yeah, there'll definitely be favourites, especially with the money's been put into the team. But Mick Kennedy's also still got to put his play style in it. I think he's going to be
Mm.
one of those up and coming managers. Scotland under 21 job is available. if if the approach him would be like that's a pathway to the Scotland job if he does do well, which under 21 squad has been absolutely destroyed by Scott Gemmell for like 13 years, then I think he could potentially take it. Obviously, a big massive loss to East Kilbride, but that's a big massive hypothetical if. But as Mick Kennedy, I've got a lot of respect for, with Darvo, etc. I think he'll definitely be a championship or premiership manager within like the next 3 to 4 years. And yeah, he's been incredible, albeit I've seen a lot of people praising last night. Don't get me wrong, 3-0 up is incredible, but no matter what team you're playing, if you're 3-0 up with like 30, half an hour to go,
Yeah.
you shouldn't lose that game. But don't get me wrong, like they bet Dunfermline comfortably. Goalkeeper got 2 assists. Obviously bet Dumbarton, I think, and then lost to Cove, which was a wee bit of a disappointing one.
Yeah.
But I get they are going to be impressive this season, but I feel last night they should have at least got something from that game.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, they'll definitely be kicking themselves because it's not a game you would look at and think they deserve to lose with how good they actually were. I mean, some of their signs as well. I mean, I think that Darren O'Connor's a big boost for them as well. Who'd been at Motherwell, Morton, and Wraith. Um, I've also signed the boy Gallagher from Airdrie as well. They've been signing a lot of young players also, which I really like. They're giving youth a chance. They're trying to get these youth players playing first team football and trying to play in a sort of an attacking style, uh, which is also football Mick Kennedy kind of really wants to play and uh, tries to implement on his players. I think that their recruitments uh, are one to be impressed by. With a club who's probably got maybe I don't know, maybe one of the lower budgets you would say.
Uh, I wouldn't say lower. I would probably say at least middle to high, just because the owner
Mm,
is ambitious. But again, that could be we don't know how like that much money is his own doing.
mm,
But like they got a guy in for Edinburgh City in the wing. I can't remember his name, but he's very impressive. Don't get me wrong. If you look at his stats, you might think, well, he's got lack of goal contributions, but Edinburgh City never scored for like 2 months straight. The strikers were awful. So
yeah.
again, they have been impressive in the transfer business. Especially with the young players, like you said, they have been bringing in. So it is an exciting future to look at, and it's something different from Gretna, like 20 odd year ago, where they just splashed the cash and just got everyone in and just hoping for the best, which don't get me wrong, got to a Scottish Cup final. But I feel like East Kilbride's been run perfectly, which they'll be definitely in safe hands for the next few years to come.
Yeah. No, they're a really well run club. I think it was maybe 12 years they've been trying to get into the SPFL because they were always winning the Lowland League. They always were the top team in the Lowland League. They just couldn't get promoted until Mick Kennedy came in. I don't even think I think they missed out promotion Mick Kennedy's first season, and then they finally went up in 2025. And now that they're finally here and they've got into the football league, it even just proves that how ambitious and how well they do things, so how well the club is actually run. Um, so it just goes to show that they haven't just been trying to just splash cash. They've been building infrastructure as well, trying to get better players, uh, trying to develop better players, young talent, get proper coaches in the door. Credit to East Kilbride, they really are, and I do have high hopes for them. I do because they look like the real deal.
Yeah, definitely like the real deal.
But yeah, they currently sit third on goal difference, level on points with Dunfermline. East Kilbride have played all four, so they now need to wait on Dunfermline St Mirren on Sunday. That's the last game before the draw. I'll quickly touch on Dunfermline as well. I think Dunfermline will be one of the favourites for the title this season. I've raved about Dunfermline a lot. A 5-0 win against Cove. They've picked up a lot since the opening day defeat against East Kilbride. I thought that was a very strange result, that Dunfermline East Kilbride. Thought it was very strange.
Definitely. I don't know if there's no excuses for the Dunfermline game against East Kilbride. You know, East Kilbride were far better. It was like a
Oh
Premiership
yeah,
club
yeah.
playing a Championship club. It's just I don't know, maybe pre-season fitness. I don't know if they've had the players in ready. Obviously, they sold. I can't even remember his name. St Johnston. His name's going out of my mind. But listen, I think the
Todd,
fans will expect. I thank you for
Todd.
that.
Yeah,
I could see
yeah.
his face, but it was annoying. Um, I think the fans will expect a title charge. Don't get me wrong, Neil Lennon being a manager in the championship will have that extra bit of bonus for Dunfermline. I just don't see it myself personally. I just think Livingston and Partick Thistle is going to be stronger, but I still think I think they'll finish third in the league with quite comfortable points from fourth and fifth.
Mm. Yeah, oh no, definitely, definitely. Again, this is in the championship. It's so tight, so hard to predict, isn't
I actually want to
it?
ask you about the championship. Sorry if I can.
Mm.
I don't think the championship this season is as competitive as it usually is over like 10 seasons. I think, you know, Dunfermline, Thistle, and Livingston's your clear top three. I feel like sometimes you can't really say that in the championship, and I think Ayr United, in my personal opinion, if they keep the run going, is comfortable four. And then you can say for relegation, either Morton, Arbroath, or Queen's Park. It's very teams you can set. Don't go wrong, I could be completely wrong in this, and the teams could obviously be different places. But it just feels like you could usually never predict the championship, whereas this season you kind of can in certain teams, I guess.
Yeah, right now, yeah, yeah. Because obviously, you look at Livy just coming back down from the Premiership. Yeah, you could also Partick have always been knocking on the door. They've got a lot of big players at the minute. Us as well, we've always been playoff contenders. Dunfermline, look at the way they've been run. Right now, you can't, but until a ball's been kicked,
Uh,
you'll get a different answer
Probably, definitely.
because getting into the latter parts of the season, everyone's got something to play for. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's got something to play for. So yeah, it's a funny league. It is. But look, you might be right, you might be proved right, but look, who knows? Anything could happen. Do you know what I mean? Anything could happen in this league. But I mean, you look at Dunfermline right now; they've just got to a cup final, beat three Premiership teams to get there. They've got rich ownership in Park Bench as well. The guys I think is Vegas are from. So Dunfermline are very well backed at the minute. I think they've recruited really well. They've signed most of the league. Final win last night. Neil Lennon's got a very young squad, and it's pretty impressive the job he's done with probably the youngest squad in the league. And it even just proves it's testament to how shocking Scotland are for not giving young players a chance at bigger clubs.
I think the massive loss for a Scottish Premiership club like an Aberdeen or even a Dundee United, etc., was not picking up Mullen. Obviously, he went to Wigan, which is a
Oh yeah,
fantastic bit of business. I think that was Neil Lennon's downfall as well. He said after the victory against Falkirk and penalties, he was like that. We don't know how Dunfermline's going to perform in the next game just because your young team is very inconsistent. And I think that's what that was a downfall because I feel like
yeah,
if you added that more experience like the Chris Kanes in that squad, I think they could have easily challenged for that title. But that's the probably young players that give you energy and they'll play for the badge. But sometimes they don't have that thinking in their game where to be like, let's hold off for this win rather than going for that goal, or we're not playing well, let's take the draw rather than going for something. So I think this season they have brought in a good bit of experience. They obviously brought back Aaron Oxborough for like the 15th time, man. I felt like they were signing him every week. So it'll be an interesting season. I still think they are a wee bit weaker on Livy and Thistle, but again, till a ball's been kicked, you don't know how the league's going to plan out.
yeah. No, 100%, 100%. Yeah, no, big win for them last night. So that's two wins from three for the Pals with one game to play. They need to beat St Mirren. I think all they need to do is go and beat St Mirren. They're through. It's really tight, that group. It really is. We'll now move on to Group D. Uh, Ross County putting a lot last season's wrongs into rights. They sit top of Group D. They've been playing really well. They've had a great cup competition so far. They beat Dundee in penalties last night, 6-7. Um, big for Ross County. Big for Ross County, that.
Yeah, it's been a good Premier Sports Cup running so far. I don't want to be negative in Ross County. The problem I just have with Ross County is you just don't have any vision with their managers. You know,
Mm.
like they sack them, then bring them back. And don't get me wrong, I felt the manager that Ross County should have got before, when was it Cam Davison got sacked? Was oh who was it? No, sorry, the
Tony
other
Docherty.
one, Tony Docherty. Sorry,
Mm.
is that they should have gone for Gary Naismith. Would he have left any at that point in time? Who knows? But Ross County had the budget and the wages. They stuck with Kettlewell. They also did get relegated. I thought they played well. I was at the Rafe and Ross County game when they got relegated. I thought the first half they could have been out of sight, but I don't think the results would have went their way anyway. I, again, they do look good. Obviously the winning penalties against Dundee is a good result. They should be aiming high. I think as fans expect, fans will expect to win League One. I don't think it will go that way just because I think sure Kettlewell is a manager like Jim Goodwin. It doesn't change, but with the money that they're throwing, the players have brought in, they're actually recruited better this year than they did in the Championship. I just feel they'll bring in any old Premiership player. They've actually put some thought into it. They got a guy from Kelly Hearts who was very impressive in the wide area. So yeah, they have been impressive. Got an impressive result last night, and the fans should be optimistic for the season.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, there was a lot of talk and a lot of criticism around Stuart Kettlewell's appointment when he got the job permanently in the summer. Everyone kept branding it as a job for the boys because his best pals with Stephen Ferguson, who's the CEO. They were co-managers when they were there last time. Stephen Ferguson's obviously under a lot of scrutiny. The fans don't like him at the minute. He's probably a big part of the Ross County's downfall. So there's a lot of unrest around the appointment, but I think Stuart Kettlewell was maybe managing above his level, if you know what I mean. I think he could be a manager that's more than capable to get out of League One. Um, Again, I think County have got their recruitment sensible. I bringing Brian Graham back's been a great signing. He's been scoring for fun. Um, they look good this season, Ross County. They do.
Um, I agree with you some extent that he probably is working below where he usually should, but I feel like he's
Yeah.
just been, his reputation has been that hot with the likes of Motherwell, even Ross County's first tenure, and obviously Kilmarnock. I feel like he needs to reset, and especially getting Ross County relegated. They never really turned it around. So probably if he had like things going for him, like, don't get me wrong, Stuart Kettle always has that running, like when he wins a lot of games, but in the backhand to that, he's probably been like the manager with the most consecutive losses for the clubs. Like I think it was what 15 or 17 with Motherwell without a win, which was mental, and obviously like 13 with Kilmarnock. So that's bound to happen with this season. Ross Kelly, well, maybe not this season, but potentially next in the Championship. And is that someone you can trust again who doesn't change the way he plays? I think that's what limits him to be a good manager.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, not only that, his brand of football is quite boring as well. He's not really an attacking manager. He can be quite he can be quite safe at times. Do you not think?
I think the word that sums up Stuart Kettlewell is he's just content of just being balanced rather than
Mm,
having a game plan. You know, the first time I've ever seen him animated, like truly animated, was that Rafe Rovers game, and I'm thinking, where has that been? He's telling his team to push up, he's telling his team to attack. Don't get me wrong, there's so much more on the line, I guess that, but
yeah,
if he had that, you know, side to him where he's just like go for it and don't be scared, I think he would obviously be a lot higher up than he usually is, but he's he's been in the game for a long time now, and that's just not going to happen for him, and that's just down to his own downfall. But listen, Ross Keltney, they should be expected to go back up, so maybe that'll put a wee bit of a bonus on his record again.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Um, but I know they travelled to Airdrie on Saturday. All they need is a win, and they win the group. No, they've got some good players this season. I think they've got the likes of Lewis Sharp. They've brought in Lewis Reed from Shinra. Airborne after him in the summer, I believe. Um, but yeah, it's it's one of them. You would probably fancy them with their budget and stuff. Uh, Elsewhere, you've got Dundee a point behind. Also losing penalties last night to Ross County. They've got Clyde at home. What do you make of them this season, Dundee?
Obviously last season I think everyone in the nan predicted them to get relegated as Stephen Presley sacked. Obviously did bring in confidence into the second half of that season. I think they'll still be in that threat of being in a relegation dogfight. They've had a better cup campaign this season than they did last season, but
Mm,
uh, I don't know. Stephen Presley will always have that doubt for me, and maybe that's just my fault. But I feel like every season with Stephen Presley's in charge, and this is obviously going to be disrespectful to Stephen Presley, and I recognise that they'll always be in a relegation dogfight, and they have lost a good amount of players this season, which is going to make it even harder for them.
yeah. Luke Graham's a big loss for them, I think. I thought he was their best defender last season. I think Kometto's away. No, no Kometto.
I think yeah.
Yogan.
Oh,
Yogan's off to Aberdeen, which is also a big loss.
Committal is away. He went to Charlton,
That was it.
uh, and obviously Congreve went back to Swansea from his loan. Like that's four massive players lost, and with the budget that Dundee have, albeit they did get what 2 million, which is fantastic. A club that's finally stood their ground to the English sides. But are they going to then reinvest that right away? Obviously not, because they obviously want to keep that just in case trouble does happen. So they have brought some players in. I think they got Bevan on loan for Bournemouth as a centre back, who looks good. They got another guy for Bromley who looks good as well. He carries the ball really well. But I just feel the wingers, they brought in Alan Forrest, which I think is a decent signing, but it just feels in that attacking says for Dundee it's not up to scratch that it was last season.
Mm, yeah. Uh, that's the thing with Stephen Paisley. You know, I didn't. No one expected Stephen Presley to last this season with Dundee. I mean, I remember when they got the job, there was a lot of Dundee fans angry at it, and other Scottish football fans ripped the piss out of it. After Dundee's miserable cup campaign last season, and they started the league quite slow as well. I think he got a point at Ibrox, but after that, it was quite inconsistent. I thought he'd be gone by Christmas. However, what I respect to the Dundee board is they gave him time and they were quite patient with him, and he did manage to get some results. I don't know. I do agree with you. I think they'll be maybe bottom six again, but I think for Dundee, I think the most important thing for them is maybe a bit of stability. I think that's what they could do with where they've been the last few years.
I guess every club should have stability. I just think we're in a time now where the financial side of things is just so massive. You just can't give a manager time. And like Frank, I'll go to like Franken right now for two settings. Like he played good first half against Sturm Graz, but
Mm,
if you lose so many games in that fashion or drop points in that fashion, he's not going to get the time, even if you can see it on the pitch. So it's a game that's just on a business side now, which is obviously sad to say, but I guess the the timing worked for the Dundee board. I just don't think it's going to work 9 times out of 10 if they do it again.
mm, yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, Clyde on Saturday. Clyde, I think they'll be favourites. I think they'll be one of the favourites for maybe League Two. Clyde is a good team. I thought Danny Young done a very good job there last season. Get beat in the playoffs as well.
Again, a team that probably should be up there. I think I predicted them to finish second today in my predictions. The problem with Darren Young's a good League Two manager.
Mm,
He did bottle a good few games last season. You know, they were in that run in. I think the Spartans and East Kilbride, see, when Spartans and East Kilbride dropped points, Clyde never took advantage of it. And he did that about 4 or 5 games, which was massive. Um, and when East Kilbride went to New Douglas Park and won by 3 goals to one, that's when it went and he's got Bryce run into going that strive long run. So he kind of started that as well. Did do brilliantly in the playoff. I thought he took Hamilton to the very end, which is obviously a compliment to him. A team that should be up there, but if he does get in League One, I'll be worried for Clyde. He just hasn't stepped up as his team is still in Albion.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But yeah, that's it for Group D. Now on to Group H. Kilmarnock have been stuttering a wee bit. Yeah, they've won all their games, but they don't look to be setting the world alight at the minute. I know it's still very early in the season, but and I know I'm an United fan and I'm slighting Kilmarnock here, right? But they scraped past Elgin with 10 men, 93rd minute, they scored, beat Raith in penalties, only beat Hamilton 1-0 last night. Kilmarnock, they've been a bit, do you fear for them?
I don't fear for them. They have recruited well, they just haven't been playing well so far. I still think they need to gel a wee bit. Like you said, the 1-0 victory against Elgin, albeit they were down to 10 men, still they should still be doing better because I think Elgin could get into that 10th, 9th place spot in League Two. Did beat Hamilton last night, but I got told off. Don't get me wrong, Aki's fine, so they could obviously say what they want. That Aki's really better team. I think that would probably concern you as well. Then obviously they're on to Rafe. Then they've got a new pitch as well. They're going to convert to grass. So it'll be interesting to see how the Kilmarnock players, play in that. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. I don't fear for them. I feel Neil McCann is a decent manager. It's just that they need to gel quicker and get that groove going if they want to have a brilliant season.
Yeah, no, definitely. Um, do you think there's just a good team there? They just need to click a bit more, maybe need a bit more time, a bit more.
They've got Bailey Rice. I think that's a good addition. Obviously, Mark O'Hara, if
Mm,
he can keep fit. Strieck's back from his heart condition. They obviously have got that Stangler boy. I think they got him for Ayr United, which is
yeah,
um, a
God,
good player. And obviously they've got John Jules and Joe Huel. So they've got they've got a squad that can finish in the top six if they gel quick. But I don't fear for them at all. I think Neil McCann will get it sorted out.
yeah. I think it's good that they've got a proper pitch now. They've got a proper grass part. I think that's probably the best thing for Kilmarnock or even Scottish football at the minute. I think we need to get rid of these car parts. I think it's good that we've got a proper surface now.
Yeah, I think it's good for us. Well, I was going to say neutrals. Obviously, you are an Ayr fan, so you've obviously got something against them. But it is good for the game. If you look at all the leagues that are better than us, in coefficient ranking, they don't really play in grass, and apart from Norway, but you understand Norway causes their weather
The weather.
conditions. So, yeah, it was a move that needed much should have happened quicker. Obviously, Kilmarnock fans probably won't agree in what we're saying, but yeah, it should have happened quicker in my opinion. But glad it's done now.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're playing their two cup games at Auchinleck's ground as well, Beechwood.
Yeah,
So yeah. But I know Raith and Kelly, they're level in points, but Raith are sitting top. They've played all four games. I think Raith would have won the group by now if they were good at penalties and won their two penalty shootouts against Kelly and Hamilton. Um, but yeah, I think that they can still go through, I believe. But Raith look okay. However, the recruitment sign a lot of players, half the league. But again, it is injury prone players that they're signing.
yeah, definitely. Obviously, we kind of did speak about before we came on this that the
Right.
strikers were very injury prone. I think it's going to be an all right season for Rafe, fifth or sixth. I think the fans will probably be fed up with that spot. Dougie Emery, I do like. I think he is tough. Did meet the guy as well, good guy, but I don't know. The Rafe Rovers just feel like a team that's just always going to finish mid-table, and maybe that's just because I need to see something different from them. Dougie Emery, is he that man to do it? I think so, but again, the signings are decent, but they're just injury prone, and obviously Oakley did get injured in his first game, and that's just a massive blow because I really do like Oakley, but
Mm.
can you trust him over a season? Obviously, the answer to that is no.
Uh, See, Oakley was injured a lot last season, but when he's fully fit, what a player! What a player! And you're lucky to have him. He always scores goals. But yeah, I think injuries have hindered him personally. Um, this is the thing with it. Apart from that one season under Ian Murray when they finished second, when we were competing with Dundee United for the title. Apart from that, they've not really much to shout about. They've always been a mid-table team. So that'll probably be the biggest restraint. If you were Wraith, you'd be looking to kick on and go for playoffs. I think that would be the big ambition currently.
It was weird. I think it was what. Don't get me wrong. Ian Murray's a manager now. He could probably get sacked for Morton, but
Yeah,
was it not 2 years after that? Duncan, chance it could have even been the season after that they sacked Ian Murray within like the second game of the season,
yeah.
and obviously brought in some managers, brought in Bayer Robson, had a good managerial bounce, and then they sacked him too. So I think the board have got some blame. Don't get me wrong, they're not going to make every perfect decision. That's just unreasonable. But I feel like if they went around the business a wee bit better, they could have progressed. Am I saying promoted to the Premiership? Maybe not, but at least more playoff runs, and maybe some playoff finals like Thistle that they kind of get out of. But it, it's just again, it's what I've seen over the years is just a mid-table team, and I need to see something different for me to give a different opinion. To be fair.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's that for that group. Oh, quickly, Hamilton. Last Saturday, I'm really happy for Hamilton because it's horrible what's happened to them. I would be in utter pain if Ayr went through what Hamilton went through. Utterly heartbreaking what's going on up there. But I'm really happy to see them back at New Douglas. It was their first game back at New Douglas in 448 days. It's good that they're back in Hamilton and not fucking Broadwood. So I'm really happy for them. And the club's moved on from guys like Jerry Strain who ran the club into the ground. I'm glad they've got stable ownership now in Harvard West.
Yeah, it was obviously a mockery, but I think the SFA's got to take a lot of blame in that. They don't do background checks, which is absolutely mental if anyone's going to come into a club. But again, was it like a good few years this showcase was happening?
Yeah.
And the SFA didn't want to intervene. They were just happy to deduct Hamilton points. And I've actually seen, I think Scotland is the worst footballing league to have like administration clubs, which
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely mental for like the size of our country. So that just shows you how bad the top's been run as well. So yeah, glad to have them, back in the Douglas Park. Glad to have them, happy again. Even if they have a bad season this year, I still think they would be absolutely delighted just, being secure and being able to go to see a team in like a weekend or midweek game. So yeah, happy for Accies to be back in the Douglas Park.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant to see. We know not long ago they were a Premiership side, but I know good to see them away from all these point deductions and transferring embargoes, late wages, etc. So yeah, no, Hamilton are back in Hamilton. That's good for football. That right. We'll finish off with Group E for our cup segment. Uh, Group E is looking very tight at the minute. I think that's probably the most entertaining group so far. I would say, um, because there's three teams that could win this group still. This group ain't over. It's all to play for on Saturday. So Partick are currently sitting top, only a point clear of Steny. Steny have Partick have played 4 games. Partick and Steny drew each other last night. Steny winning in penalties. They got the bonus point. Steny sits second with Livy in third. Steny play at Livy on Saturday. How do you think that group's going to go?
Um, it's going to be interesting. I kind of wrote Stenny off right away because they were losing a lot of players and it took a long time to get Marvin Bartley through the door. But they've
Mm.
impressed me. They've really impressed me in the Premier Sports Cup group stage. Obviously, Livy got that 8-0 win last night, so that's going to be an uplift for them. Obviously, Forfar keeper's probably one of the worst keepers I've ever laid my eyes upon, so that kind of helps in Livy's favour. But it is a tight group. I feel like if you're a Thistle, Steny, or Livy fan, you'd be kind of disappointed, but because you've going to be potentially playing these championship sides even more than usual. But if Steny top that group, that's like absolutely mental going into the championship season where it could boost their players' confidence right up.
Yeah, all 100%. I don't think Steny will go down. I like the look of Marvin Bartley. I thought Marvin Bartley got Livingston playing some really good football the back end of last season. I thought he'd done a decent job with Livy. Um, got a point against Rangers, got a point against Hearts. I think Steny could stay up. I do. I've got high hopes for Steny.
I feel like for Steny to stay up, you would have liked to have like an Airdrie who's always there at the bottom. You could
Yeah.
potentially say maybe that could be like a Bro this season, have like a second season syndrome. I think Queen's Park, ever since he got rid of Josh Fowler, they've played better as a team, which is good to see for them. Um, I don't know. It depends. I think they'll need to win their home games against the teams that are going to be down the bottom, like potentially Inverness, etc. But I like Marvin Bartley as a coach. It's just sometimes a coach is limited to what the players he has. And don't get me wrong, they're not an abysmal team. They're not going to be the worst championship team ever. I just don't see enough where they could, you know, go above a team. But again, it's a championship and it can happen.
Yeah. No, definitely. Um, so you've got Livy up there. Livy won 8-0 last night, battered Forfar. So yeah, only two points between the top three. Really, really tight. So what I've got down here in my notes, Jordan, I think Steny, draw with Livingston and winning Pens. I think they'll win the group. I think that's enough to win the group. Uh, and then Partick finish second. So that's what could happen. But it's all to play for in Group E. Um, a few other teams, obviously Morton. I think Morton will go down. Obviously, the news broke out about Morton last week. Morton have had an absolutely horrible cup campaign. They're already out. Was to win Lithgow, uh, and Inverness and St Johnstone. They've got the lowest budget in the league. Their budget's been cut. What do you make of things going on at Capo?
Um, See, the players they brought in, like the Harry Cochrane, etc. I feel like their midfield is quality for the championship, in my opinion, obviously, but it's their attacking sense is just blank. It's like you can't really put a word for it. It's just utter dire. There was a partner going in for Loden, whatever his name is from Montrose, that hasn't even like lifted off after their second bid was rejected. I think I said when they brought in the players for the midfield, I could see them go for the playoff spot. And in my predictions, it's going to be like relegation or relegation playoff again. They need to get rid of Ian Murray. They don't have the money to do that. So yeah, it's been an abysmal cup campaign. It's going to be a abysmal season, but the way it looks so far.
Yeah, no, you've got to fear for them. You do. I mean, Dougie Imrie done a terrific job there on a limited budget the last 5 years. Um, but you can just tell it's a club that's just in disarray, that's in dire straits, and they've been hanging on for the last few seasons. It's a club really in turmoil when they badly need investment. But yeah, that's it for all the cup chat. Aberdeen play Queen of the South tonight. Um, you expect Aberdeen to win that. They didn't make things easy for themselves against Queen's Park on Saturday night, so winning 2-1. Scrape by them. Do you think they'll get top four this season, Aberdeen?
No, I don't even see them getting top six.
They're signing a
Um,
lot of players.
a lot of people were happy about the Mayo and Brad Lyons signing. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Neil McCann took them out of the team and then Kamarik's played better. I guess for squad depth, you can say maybe. Muller, the keeper, looks good. Albeit, he kind of He pulled off like three terrific saves, but he was kind of the cause of it as well. They brought in an Austrian boy in midfield that looks good again, but it's just an attacking sense. It's a wee bit They brought Lewis Smith in. I think that's a good signing. Obviously Ugan as well, which you kind of touch upon briefly, but it's just their striker options. They're criminal, honestly, absolutely criminal.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. See, I don't know what to predict with Aberdeen because I think that job's been a bit of a basket case the last few years. It's just been. I know they won the cup, but I mean, the form the back end of that season was abysmal. Like they were lucky to finish in the top six. Um, they won the cup, and I think that's what gave Jimmy Tilleen more time. Last season, they were shocking. Really, I thought they were lucky to be nowhere near the relegation zone. They were lucky. I thought they were awful last season. I don't know. They're a funny old team, Aberdeen, since McInnes left. They really have.
To be fair, they kind of remind me like a Hibs. Like, obviously, Hibs have been relegated, Aberdeen haven't in that sense, but
Yeah.
they're either going to finish in top three, four, or finish like eighth to like 10th. It's what's been
Mm.
happening ever since Derek McInnes has left.
Yeah, no, it's a funny club. Right, that's enough for all the cup games. Scottish teams are now in Europe. Obviously, Hearts played their first leg last night, their first Champions League qualifying in 20 years. First leg away at Sturm Graz. They lost 4-0. Jordan, give me your thoughts.
Huh. Uh, Hammering. Um,
Yep.
I'm going to use embarrassing just because of the way that defending was in the second half. You can maybe say slightly first half whenever they lost the ball. If Kieserides, Kabore, take those chances in the first half, you can see the potential of leading. If Jimmy McCart can defend, you could probably say they could be leading. And, Swallow, I don't know, like, I'm not going to say he's down tools or that, but if you've agreed a transfer to another club, I wouldn't play him. I would have just
Mm,
let him go, just get it over with. He was a bit costly in that game. The defending was criminal, especially that back post. I don't know why he dropped Stuart Finlay. His team selection needs questioned a lot. Blair Spittle was god awful. It felt like they had no midfield. It, and this is what I'm saying about Stuart Kettlewell, or like sorry, Neil Lennon and Dunfermline last season. They knew they were going to lose, so to shut up shop and lose by 2 goals. Just
mm,
take the hit. You've got a chance. They lost 4 goals out of the Champions League. Potentially, the way the clubs are looking like they'll get Benfica. They're going to lose that. I think they're better than Sturm Graz. So they've not got the luck of the draw, and they did play well in the first half, but bad management cost them that game and their Champions League hopes or even European hopes.
yeah, no, 100%. I think it's embarrassing for Scottish football, embarrassing for the league. This Hearts team's had a lot of change. They've made 10 new signings in the summer, new manager as well. It's been a difficult few months, losing their top goal scorer and captain in Shanklin, losing Cammy Devlin, losing their manager. It- but, I mean, this out of ranking, we don't know much about him. He finished third in Belgium last season. There's a lot of, it's a new Hearts team, it's a different Hearts team, but they'll be kicking themselves. That 9 minute spell in the second half when they conceded their 3 goals, I think that's what's potentially put them out because they were only 1-0 down. I didn't see the first half, I was out with my pal, but we had the stats on our phone. And from what I've heard, Hearts had were all over them first half. I saw Kizarides' miss this morning. I thought it was an absolute disgrace. Pretty much an open goal. Kabori had a big chance, squandered that. All defended for all 4 goals are it's Sunday League standard. The defending for all of them, they're shocking. The first goal's from a throw in. The second goal is from a set piece as well. Kabori, I don't know what he's doing for the second goal. It's such a frustration. Hearts will be kicking themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's always going to be a big what if.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say he's a bad manager, like you said. I think he's won everywhere he's went. He's
Yeah,
overachieved everywhere he's went. I still think he'll do decent this season. But there's a time when you stick to your philosophy, and there's a time when you don't. And he changed it. He brought in Bassi and Guendouzi, obviously before he brought in the defenders. And I'm just thinking the attacking sense does need change, but you look at the defending, he's all over the place. It's like sometimes it's like two against one, three against one. You're thinking, where is everyone? So yeah, it's bad man management and obviously bad defending and finishing cost them, which would have been a brilliant win or at least a brilliant draw in Austria.
yeah, no, uh-huh. Um, See, my biggest fear right now for Hearts, and this is a typical Scottish thing outside Old Firm, is them getting put out of Europe altogether.
To be fair, I don't know if you've seen their projected teams in the Conference League. It looks like that's going to be the case.
Mm,
Obviously, they're not going to be seeded. They could get Atalanta, Ajax, Brighton, another team that I'm missing, which is a big hitter. So it doesn't look good. If they're lucky, they don't get them, but they need a miracle against Benfica or next week. That's the only way that they're going to get at least
mm,
guaranteed comfortably because I just feel like even in the end, you can say Atalanta and Ajax is better than Sturm. Like it's
yeah,
absolutely mental the way the draw's been handed to them. So you need to have a wee bit of sympathy for them, but they've blown their big chance.
yeah, all 100%. I think if it was maybe 1-0 or 2-0, they're still in the tie. I think the extra two goals have killed them. So yeah, they're going to need to. The strikers are going to need to turn up and find the back of the net, select the second leg, because it's going to need to be a miraculous turnaround, genuinely. But yeah, not ideal for Hearts. Another two teams, we've got Motherwell and Hibs tomorrow night. The start of the Alfred Johansson era at Motherwell. Another Danish manager from Rosenberg. It was apparently a recommendation from Jens. Elliot Watt's just been sold to Samson Spore. Elijah Just has gone to Swansea for 5 million, which is great money for Motherwell. Callum Ward's been sold to QPR for an undisclosed fee. I'm fearing for Motherwell. They've lost a lot of big players. They've got a few injuries as well. They've got a lot of money to spend, and they will bring new signings out. I know they will. They will find replacements. What do you make of Motherwell's chances?
I think they've been handed a decent draw. Like, don't get me wrong, there's Faroe Island teams like Havna, Bolter Flag, or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
They have
aye.
played 16 games this season, so they're like a good majority game in, so they're going to have the fitness levels up. As a team, Mullowes should still be beaten.
Yep.
They've been handed a okay draw for the third round. Obviously, I feel like they will be traveling to Helsinki if they go past this Faroe Island team. I think they should. So they could get more decent money in. I seen something on Twitter. If you including the Lennon Miller deal, because obviously he never went through until like the end of July or start of August. They've
Mm.
made 14 million. So that's good for Mull. So they need to reinvest that. They brought in Willy Volk for a Swiss team in second division who had brilliant stats, a winger slash striker. They brought in Moorman at the centre back as well, who's very physical and can pass the ball, and he's a left-footed centre back, which they desperately needed. So they brought in the players, like good players. They just need to bring in a lot more, which is also going to be very hard when you had Watt and Joshua obviously outstanding last season.
Yeah, it'll be hard to replace these players, I think. Um, well, Havna are currently sitting fifth in the Faroe Islands Premier League, so that gives me some hope. But again, similar to when Scotland played Hay, you don't know how good these kind of teams are. Do you know what I mean? You don't know how good these teams are, so we don't know what to expect. But this new manager sounds really good. Sounds like a really good coach. He'd been at Rosenberg. He'd been an assistant at Malmo, I believe. So he comes with an okay pedigree. He's a young manager. He's only 35, 36, Johansson. So They're a very well run club at the minute, Motherwell. We've got lots of money. Just need to reinvest into the squad. It's exciting times, I think, and I can see them maybe going for top six. But it'd be nice to see them going around in Europe. It would.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see like most Scottish clubs
Yeah.
go around in Europe. I think again they've been handed a decent draw. The manager, he does look decent. He looks like he still plays the same philosophy. I know some
Mm.
people might say he got sacked for Rosenborg, but you know, Rosenborg isn't the team like the most dominant team in Norway like they were like 10, 15 years
Yeah.
ago. You know, Bodo Glimt, Viking, Moldes came up. So they're like that mid-table team. So yeah, I think it's a disappointment for Millwall.
Mm. Mm. And the last, since Kettle, I think the last two appointments have been foreign managers. And they were impressive. They've been a breath of fresh air. What I loved about Motherwell last season under Jens was Jens came to Motherwell and brought in a different, a European mentality, they were calling it. Like, he's got to places like Parkhead, Ibrox, where teams would always just sit in and defend. Whereas he was going to Ibrox and Parkhead and all that, and he was going there and just going for it and attacking Rangers and Celtic. And it was so great to watch. And they were beating Old Firm. The record against Rangers speaks for itself.
I actually think they've lost at Ibrox against three different Millwall managers, which
Yeah.
is mental. 3 years in a draw. I his philosophy was good. I felt Celtic missed out on him big time for not going for
Mm,
him. Obviously went to Toulouse, which is also a nice place in France. So good luck to the guy. I thought he was a terrific manager. Yeah, he still will be missed, but I feel like he might have opened the eyes of Scottish football and be like, you know what, we can play this way. Not always going to win against the Glasgow teams, but at least have a go and like, give your fans your money's worth at least, you know.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, Motherwell at home tomorrow night. Second leg next Thursday. So good luck, Motherwell. We'll quick move on to Hibs. Hibs travel to Malasheva from Moldova. Malasheva won their last leg 3-1 in aggregate against Vlasnia. Um, Hibs, they've been quite busy in the transfer market. Also, they've been reinvesting with all the Bowie money. Um, David Gray has come out numerous times and said he's really looking to strengthen. I thought Hibs were very unlucky in Europe last season.
Oh, definitely. You know, they played Midtjylland, which went far in Europa League and took them to the wire. There's a wonder goal that
Aye,
put them out. Bet Partizan over in Serbia, which is a hostile crowd. Obviously nearly put out like a Warsaw with that massive comeback. It was just the same old for Hibs, but the Hibs did with the late goals they conceded, which was a
yeah,
massive downfall last season. But Hibs, again, I think they've been handed a favourable draw. I think in the next
yeah,
round, I don't know where the teams are based, but it's a team that they should be beating either one of those. So if they can go
mm,
through this tie, there's a playoff draw in the works again, and maybe that'll kick on into the season in the league campaign.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. See, Hibs are a team you do expect to be consistently top four, top five, top six, and also reaching the league phases of Europe with their budget. You know the size of the club. Again, Hibs similar to Aberdeen. You never know with Hibs where they're going to finish. Do you know what I mean? They're just one of the teams. But hats off to David Gray. I think he's done some job the last year and a half. Um, yeah, I think they'll be up there competing again this season. But who knows? I do, again, I think they've got a favourable draw. I think it is a team that should be beaten, it is winnable. I do think they can go far. So, yeah, I'm confident for Hibs.
Yeah, the Hibs fans should be confident. Obviously,
Yeah,
we don't really watch much in the league. I seen they've got their six undefeated at home. They do score a lot, but they also concede. So it's a game that Hibs should be scoring in, and if you think if Hibs score, they'll be at least favourable. So yeah, it's a game that Hibs should win, but again, as Hibs, you never know what's going to happen with them.
yeah, yeah. They signed Jason Kerr as well from Wigan. I think that's a solid signing. He was St Johnson captain as well.
Yeah, he also
Uh,
did I think he won the Scottish Cup with him.
Yeah, won the double. Callum Wright from Plymouth. So yeah, they're looking to spend big. David Gray has come out and said that. They've been over in Ireland for pre-season. So yeah, no, good luck to Hibs. I do fancy them. So it's important that our Scottish teams do well in Europe because our coefficient ranking is just dropped drastically. It's important that our coefficient gets back to where it was and continues, hopefully continues to rise to where it was when a few years ago. 'Cause it's such a shame, it really is. And we need a league to start improving because a lot of other countries tend to look down in our league, and it is horrible to listen to, isn't it? So it is big that our teams do well. Um, yeah, I think it's 19th the coefficient is now.
Yeah,
It's pretty embarrassing.
there's two sides to coin. It is embarrassing, but if you look at the actual in depth of it, a lot of the leagues above us actually took advantage of the Conference League, and
Yeah,
most of our teams aren't actually in it. But again, Aberdeen and Hearts kind of was horrendous, albeit Aberdeen kind of had like a Europa League draw, I guess, so you can give them a wee bit of leeway. But the teams that's been in the Conference League group stages should have done better. Obviously, haven't. So again, you could play that card too. But yeah, if Hibs and Mull can go into it, and maybe Hearts, if they're lucky, it could put that coefficient back up within the next 2 or 3 years, which will be good to see.
yeah. Oh no, 100%, definitely. I mean, you look at like the biggest example for me is in the Region League. If you're looking at teams like Viking, Molde, etc., even Shamrock Rovers in Ireland, all getting far in the conference, and you look at Aberdeen and Hearts getting packed out early doors. You're looking at that and going, see, why can't our country be going far in European competitions? It's depressing to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Obviously, Rangers has probably been one of those teams that's, well, not one, is the team that kind of dragged it up,
Yeah,
but you would want to see them in the Champions League more, because that helps you out more. Obviously Celtic, I think Celtic's best on the Champions League in the recent years was that narrow loss to Bayern Munich, but Celtic need to improve a lot as well. So yeah, you could say 5, 6 teams need to get their act together, to be fair, but I guess Rangers gets the most leeway because they were the one that kind of brought it back from the death, let's say.
yeah, yeah. See, all the good work Rangers did is now just come to waste now. It just feels like, doesn't but no, that quickly brings me on to we all have a bit of old firm chat. Celtic, I mean, Celtic fans are tearing their hair out at the minute. Um, they haven't learned from their mistakes from last summer. It's been an abysmal summer transfer window yet again. One player in the door, Camilo Duran. They missed out on Ian Acho and Sirachi, probably two easy steals, free agents who were in the door last season. I mean, it's shocking. It's baffling what's going on at Celtic. I mean, they're bored. It looks to me like they're bored. Don't really care. They're incompetent. They still lack ambition. It's it's abysmal to see what's going on over there.
I think the Celtic board is just happy being above Rangers.
Yeah.
I think that's all they really care about. But we see all these reports about Celtic being one of the best clubs run, or best like one of the richest clubs. But like I'm not going to say they're lying, but like
Mm.
where is it? Like they've literally just been happy, dominant Scottish football. And I know that is the bread and butter, but there needs to be a wee bit more ambition from the board. And again, it's just not going to happen this season. And I feel like Martin O'Neill needs to be called out too, to be like, you're lying to the fans here and saying all these things where we know it's utter garbage. Let's just say,
What I've noticed is he's sticking up for the board too much.
yeah, I think he's trying to play the card that he wants to be pal with the board and fans, and that's just never works in football. You need to pick a side, and obviously he's going to pick the side that does employ him. But I'm not going to. His Celtic's legacy will never be tarnished because he is a legend. But why walk into this job where knowing this could happen? Does he think to himself that this is a free pass and whatever happens, it won't really matter much? If that is the case, then that's a wee bit that's really narcissistic in his side of things. And his press conferences are always jokey. That was good at the start, but I think it's grinding
Oh,
Celtic fans' gears now. It's just like get your act together, get stuff moving, and get us competing again.
yeah, no, definitely, definitely. You mentioned there you don't think his legacy is going to be tarnished. I was going to actually ask you that. Um, I don't know. He shouldn't have took this job on permanently. He shouldn't have, in my eyes. Right now in 2026, Martin O'Neill should be realising the Celtic job right now is a no-go. The club's a shambles, on and off the pitch, and they're hiding to nothing. I don't know if he does have a horrendous season and they do lose the league. I think his legacy will slightly be tarnished. I've just got a feeling. I don't know why.
Maybe with the maybe with the young supporters, but I don't think with the guys that's seen the Larsens, etc. It feels like a Neil Lennon situation where the older fans will still cherish him, respect him, and some Celtic fans, the younger side will be like he kind of was in it for himself rather than Celtic. So I guess time will tell. I don't think Celtic, as the time of recording, with the players have brought in, I don't
Mm,
see them win. This is going to be mental to say. I don't see them, winning the league, which they've been dominating for the past 14 out of the 15 seasons.
yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a skeleton squad at the minute. I mean, the squad that they've got currently, I don't think is good enough to qualify for the Champions League or win the title. I just don't. I'm sorry, but I don't think they've got enough. Maeda is out the door. He's going to Ipswich for 10 million, or 8 million plus £2 million add-ons. That's Maeda now away. I think Hatate and Negrin will be gone. I think Hatate's finished. I think there'll be a lot more outgoings than incomings at this point.
Yeah, it's been a scenario with the Celtic board again where they sell, get the money, and then they use that money. They don't really like to use their own money. It's just always profit. I don't think, there's some Celtic fans calling for Hatate to play again when O'Neill dropped him. I think apart from that game against Ibrox where they brought it back to two each, I think he's been an empty jersey. Negrini stats are good, but if you watch him off the ball, etc., I don't think it's a player that Celtic can rely on going forward. Engels is definitely going to leave. I don't know with Engels, it might be a player that you miss when he's gone, but again, when I watch him, I don't really see much for the price tag. Not his fault, it's just fee Celtic paid, but you expect to be a wee bit more dominant in Scottish football. Um, I agree there's going to be a lot of outgoings, but I don't know. It's this squad is. I'm not going to say disarray because they're still going to get a European place, but it's just like this could go either two ways. They win the league again last day of the season, or they get absolutely piled and embarrassed and finish third.
Right. Oh, no, 100%. And you know, with the Celtic fans, if that does happen, it'll end toxic because we've seen it before, haven't we?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, see, this is just, I mean, when it got to sort of towards deadline day, when the board then realised, shit, we've not got enough, they then started panic buying free agents. And lucky with the signing of Ian Atcho and stuff, they got away with one and bringing back Martin O'Neill. But I mean, they can't continue to act like this. The Celtic board, they can't. They need the richest club in the league. They've got everything going from over £100 million in the bank. I don't know why they just spend money and spend it on quality. You know, it's a shame.
So only a question the board can really answer. I just feel like
Yeah,
it's just profit for them as a business side.
yeah. Oh no, definitely. We'll now move on over to Rangers. obviously a new era at Rangers as well, another rebuild. Derek McInnes, I think that's a perfect appointment. I think that's the appointment Rangers have been needing for a while.
As an appointment, it's been needed to go back to basics. It feels like a Alec McLeish type signing.
Mm,
Brought in and he did do the job. Is it one that's going to inspire? Like a lot of fans say, they don't care how they win, as long as they win. You look at West Ham, they sacked David Moyes because his play style wasn't the best. I think I'm not going to say Denver McKenzie is going to get sacked. I think he will be successful at Rangers, but I feel like he'll be the manager that doesn't take Rangers where the Rangers fans want to be. Even the board, I think the owners know this herself deep inside that they can steady the ship, bring some success back to Rangers in Scotland. But to do both, I don't feel he is that manager for Scotland and European football.
mm. See, the main thing I look at is what's good for Rangers is we've got a Scottish manager, so he's going to bring in a proper mentality. So he's someone he's played for Rangers, he's been in Scotland his whole life. He, unlike we listened to Danny Rowe and Clermont, they were happy with a point away at Fir Park or St Mirren Park, and they were buzzing with the performance, even if they didn't win. But when Dent McInnes has come in here going, look, at clubs at Rangers, winning's everything. You just need to win. What just win every single game. Winning's everything. He knows the league inside out better than any other manager. I think that will help Rangers, and I think he could win them the title. I do.
But the players have brought in, definitely, Shankland,
Mm,
obviously the keeper for Hill, that Ivan Panver, whatever his name is. McCrory, he's very versatile. Cammy
definitely.
Devlin. So I feel like they need more wingers, but the squad they're putting together is obviously better than last season, and with Celtic looking likely they're going to be even worse off, you've got to put them Rangers as favourites.
Yeah. All right now, definitely. I think currently the recruitment looks okay. I think Ben Godfrey, Dan Neil is another good signing. Shankland, I mean, the Rangers fans have been crying for Lawrence Shankland. Look, I think it's a fantastic signing. They should have signed him 2 years earlier, I feel. I think he's in the door. He's not in the door too late, but he should have been signed earlier. But finally get him. Cammy Devlin, another great signing. McCrory back at Rangers, another good signing. I think their recruitment so far is good. I just think they need to replace another few areas of the pitch. I think Raskin will go. I think Raskin is a good World Cup player every game for Belgium. I think he'll get sold. So I think they can maybe do another midfielder. Again, another winger. Their business isn't quite done yet, but what they've got in so far, I think, is good. I think they're in the right direction currently, Rangers.
Yeah, Raskin obviously is a good player. I feel Rangers fans would be content of him leaving. So yeah, get a bit decent money in, reinvest that into the squad. Again, they've got good strikers in Schmidt and Shankland, but for me, the glaring creative, even midfielder is just not there. So they definitely need more creative players in there for them to definitely be hands on that title. But
Yeah,
it is looking optimistic if you're a Rangers fan.
yeah. No, definitely. Again, though, I agree with that. I think they could do a bit more kind of creative kind of players, flair players. So I mean that's what they had the season they won the league with Gerrard. With players like Ryan Kent, who was good on the ball, quick, scored goals, could beat a man. Even guys like Hadji, creative players, flair players, exciting to watch. They're willing to get on the ball. They're the kind of wingers Rangers need to win the league. That's what Celtic have had. Players like Kyogo, Maeda, Abada, creative players. They're a key to a team. They're a key to a team. They're everything. So yeah, things look good at Ibrox. Rangers placing Etienne tonight. Yeah, tonight, the first pre-season game,
Yeah,
and West Ham on Sunday, which will be a different challenge for them. They drew Jagiellonia in the third round Europa League, Polish team.
Polish side.
Yeah, Rangers are always good in Europe. This is their tournament. You back them to qualify, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to say if it's going to be a walkover. Obviously, finished
Yeah,
fourth in the Polish league. I
yeah,
felt actually, I think it's like first to seventh. Any team could have won the title, so just 12 to see how tight that league was last season. But it's a game Rangers should be winning, especially if they want to
mm,
qualify Europa League, 'cause they're going to go up against much harder teams.
yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I mean Rangers. I mean, Mike, I've mentioned. I've said it hundreds of times on this. Rangers have been a funny kind of team. They've been so poor domestically since Steven Gerrard had left, but for some reason they just always turn up in Europe. They always turn up in Europe. Um, it's a weird one, bit of an enigma.
I feel like it's just because the pressure's off the players. Like
Think
they're
so?
probably the favourite, like they're not the favourites for that game, and that's how they crumble. Like you see it with the manager bounces all the time. They do shit, manager gets sacked, and then they go on a good run. The going gets tough, and then they bottle it again. I think pressure's always been a big, massive thing at Rangers, where the players haven't handled well. And with European football, there's not really that much pressure. It's to go on, put on a show, and sometimes that's what they do.
Yeah. I believe that will change other than McInnes. I think he's the manager to change that. I do.
I agree with that one. I agree that McKenna's will change the mentality. I think it will be a sacrifice on European football to Scottish, but listen, a lot of Rangers fans have been calling out for that, so let's see if it happens.
Yeah, no, let's see. Rangers, they open up the season 2 weeks, a week and Friday for the first league game against Dundee United away at Tannadice. So that should be an absolute cracker. That's pretty much everything. Thanks very much, Jordan. Brilliant
No,
podcast,
thank
giving
you
me some
for
great points.
getting us on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We got through everything we needed to go through. So yeah, no, keep listening. Make sure you get it streamed. Uh, we've got a lot coming up this season. I've got a lot of plans for the podcast. So yeah, I'll try as much content out as I can in the coming weeks. I'm going to try and get this up onto YouTube as well. So yeah, if I do subscribe to the YouTube as well, Soccer Talk, we're on YouTube. Yeah, no, keep listening, everybody. I hope you like tonight's show. If you all enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.